There are two kinds of people in the world, my friend. Those with a rope around their neck and the people who have the job of doing the cutting. Listen, the neck at the end of the rope is mine. I run the risks.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Two can dig a lot quicker than one.
All right, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's just some things that we took away from the sports weekend. I will get things started here, starting off with the good. Do we have a cool intro now? Has that been modified?
Ba-da-ba-bum-bum.
Okay.
Good, bad, and the ugly.
Thank you.
There you
Andrew.
go.
Thank you. All right, let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Starting off with the good.
I hope record that. That's what we're using.
Honestly,
I like it.
Just saying, Andrew.
Yeah.
So, some of the best things happen organically, including
We
that.
might have to
Thank you.
do this over 2 segments, so it's okay if we linger a little bit. But there's a guy named Mike Wargon, right? Yeah, he's a producer for the Rosillo Show, and he was telling a story that his dad named him after Michael Jordan. So he was gonna name him Michael Jordan Wargon, but he's like, nah, it's gonna be Michael Jaden Wargon because I don't think you can live up to it. Like that's before he was born, and now they play that segment at the end of every Rosillo episode.
Man.
So the ba-da-ba-ba-ba, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's I'm gonna ask that be part of the intro to it.
But my good for this past weekend, and my guy Eddie kind of alluded to it, is just what a great weekend for the University of Arizona. And also Tucson, Arizona specifically. Let's just start off with the Tucson angle. Huge shout out to Lathan Ransom, former South Point Catholic defensive back who had a roller coaster journey at Ohio State. You know, when he first got to college, it was a part of the COVID-19 pandemic, and then he endured a handful of injuries that sidelined him for many games.
The terrible one that happened in the Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
He came back from that, and sorry, keep going.
Well, no, and like that gruesome leg injury that he suffered, you know, I was wondering how he was going to bounce back from that. And man, he bounced back nicely. He became a Associated Press, I think, second or third team All-American, was an all Big Ten safety, went back to the scene of the crime where he suffered his injury and helped Ohio State win the Rose Bowl en route to a national championship. So to see all the things that he went through, for him to cap his Ohio State career with a national championship and then get drafted on day 3 by the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I will be buying the jersey. Yes, I can rock a Panther jersey.
And there
two coming in it.
I was gonna say there's gonna be a couple Panthers jerseys in the Spears household with McMillan and Lathan Ransom. I just thought it was so cool for Lathan to experience that early day 3. He's going to be a great NFL prospect. Yeah.
What if you order the T-Mac jersey and somebody just plays a joke on you and puts Tet on the back?
Oh man, I'd be so mad. And by the way, his mother.
Oh, that was cold.
Shawnee McMillan.
That was fire. They're like, you might as well ask. Somebody's like, you don't like to be called Ted, right? And T-Mac said his introductory press conference, and he goes and says, well, you can ask my mom why. And she looks at the reporter, and there's a pause.
Uh-oh.
And she goes, because I named him Tetaroa. And that's like, so shut the bleep up. That's not a thing.
Mama McMillan came out.
Yeah.
You know, she's been supportive of T-Mac, just kind of letting him do his own thing. And we saw Mama Bear come out when they're like, so T-Mac, how come you don't like to go by Tet? What is the reason for that? And he's like, well, you're gonna have to ask my mom. And they actually panned the camera over like it was like an episode out of The Office, and she's looking right at the lens. It was like, because I named him Tetaroa, so that's his name.
It's beautiful.
That's that. Period. End of story. Move on. Tetaroa, Nalo, T-Mac T. Get this Tet business out of here.
Drop the mic, Mama Tetaroa.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mama McMillan.
Mama McMillan, yeah.
And also, it was really cool to see this video that T-Mac's parents created, just kind of showing support. Like, you know, son, you've gone through so much to get to this point, and it was really cool to see that moment that T-Mac had with his family. And it was honestly just so cool to see Tetaroa really put on for the Polynesian people. And, you know, it's no secret, Polynesians love football, faith, family, football. Those are the principles in a Polynesian household. And despite the
fourth F is food.
And food.
Yeah.
Can't forget about
straight.
that.
Yeah, no.
Man,
Yeah.
let's be real here. The Polynesian people, they do know how to throw down some good food. And to see Tetaroa walk out onto the stage wearing a lei, and then I didn't know he had an extra one on, but he took off one of them and laid Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner. That has never been done before. And so many Polynesian football players have come through the NFL, but never have we seen a Polynesian player walk out on the stage and put a lei around the commissioner's neck. And Roger Goodell talked about it. He was like, I'm very appreciative and grateful that you would think of me to do something like this. So for T-Mac to put on for the Polynesian people, for T-Mac to put on for the University of Arizona, like I said, highest drafted offensive player from Arizona in draft history. And
he gave one to Mike Canales, the coach at Carolina.
Oh, Dave
Canales, yeah. And Dave introduced his wife, and his wife made a lei for Tetaroa.
It was a baby blue one.
A baby blue one, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. And for T-Mac to go
getting laid. Cool.
number 8 overall, and then later on that day you saw, or not later on that day, later on in the draft, the following day, Big Jonah Savianaya going to the Miami Dolphins, which I think is a great fit for him. And like I said in the last hour, and Jonah was actually the one who pointed this out, that Jonah has only ever blocked for Polynesian quarterbacks because he grew up in Tafuna, American Samoa, then moved over to Honolulu when he was like a preteen, when he was like 12 or 13. And then he went to St. Louis High School and blocked for Jaden Delora, who then came over to the University of Arizona. And when Jonah came to the U of A, his first quarterback was Jaden Delora. Then his next quarterback was Noah Fafita. And now his quarterback with the Miami Dolphins is Tua Tagovailoa.
At least for like 6 or 7 games.
What? for Tua, and then
then Quinn Ewers, who they just drafted out of Texas. I don't know who their backup is, but it's
maybe Jonah can teach Tua not to lead with his head.
Yes.
Hey, Tua, wish you the best, buddy. I was just joking.
But I think it's so cool that Jonah was like, yeah, man, God only wants me to block for my people. And for the Dolphins to trade up to get Jonah says a lot about the guy and kind of how he's valued. And then the next day, you had Tyler Loop go into the 6th round, and because of Justin Tucker, or as T Money called him, Justin Toucher, with his whole incident.
Allegedly.
16
allegedly.
16 massage therapists have stepped up and said, this guy is a creep. This guy has sexual misconduct. And because of the uncertainty of Justin Tucker's future, one of the greatest kickers of all time. We're talking about a 5-time All-Pro, a guy who was just automatic and so clutch for so long. Because of the uncertainty with him, the Ravens were like, we got to make sure that we have some insurance just in case this goes south. And so they drafted Tyler Loop. And Tyler Loop, not only is he a great kicker with incredible leg, but he's also just a good dude, a good human being. And I think Tyler Loop's going to have one hell of an NFL career. And then to cap it all off, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, the running back, getting taken by the Washington Commanders in the 7th round. For everything that he's gone through as a college football player, from Alabama State to New Mexico to here, dealing with the eligibility concerns, he had a great offseason. He killed it at the East-West Shrine Bowl, was an offensive MVP in that showcase, had the fastest 40-yard dash time out of running backs at Big 12 Pro Day, also had one of the best bench press performances too. So he showed the speed, he showed the strength in the 2 games that he played in the last year at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and then his 1 game at Arizona. He showed why he is an elite running back, and I was worried he wasn't going to get drafted because this class is so loaded with running backs. I think 24 running backs were picked ahead of Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. For him to land in that 7th round was awesome. 4 NFL draft prospects from the University of Arizona, the most since 2008. It's a great draft for the U of A. So that is my good.
That's like 17 goods, but I'm not going to even give them a hard time because they're all good things.
Hell yeah.
That's literally, you outdone yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, with your list.
My bad, I'm going to keep this one very quick. Arizona Diamondbacks. What the hell, man? Gino Suarez is one of 19 players in Major League Baseball history to hit 4 home runs in a game, and you lose 8-7 in extra innings. Come on, D-backs. Help out my guy, Gino. Historic performance from Gino Suarez against the Atlanta Braves. And then my bad, listen, man.
Ugly.
My ugly.
Yeah.
My ugly.
Keep you on track.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders and the prank call. It's not Shedeur Sanders.
There's a prank call?
Oh,
Yes. So
and it's always Ole Miss guys. Why is it always Ole Miss guys?
Yeah.
Ole Miss fraternity guys.
Ole Miss frat
I'll let you
guys.
tell the story, but this goes back to my rule where there's certain things in life that you do that the other person just gets one punch in the face without consequence. And this kid needed to be punched. I know he apologized and called Shedeur, and Shedeur was gracious about it, but the kid still needs to be punched in the face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as we all know, Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft. He was projected as a potential first-round pick, and then he fell not only to day 2, but to day 3. And then in the early parts of day 3, some kid from Ole Miss decided to call Shedeur's phone and said, "Hey, this is the GM from the Saints. We're gonna take you with that next pick." Actually, no, you're gonna keep waiting, buddy, and then hung up. And Shedeur said, like, this phone number is only for NFL coaches and GMs. Like, I got this phone specifically for the draft. So who the bleep got this phone number? Well, come to find out, the kid who got the phone number is the son of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, who was the interim head coach for the New York Jets last year.
Yeah.
After
he kept his laptop open and the son saw it as he was walking by and wrote it down. So
and got his phone number.
And
so
I'm sure the dad was. I'm sure he's pissed. Yeah.
And the Atlanta Falcons, they did an investigation. The NFL did an investigation. And some people were like, this Jeff Ulbrich guy, he needs to get fired. He needs to get punished. Listen, the guy shouldn't get punished because his douchey son decided to act like a douche at Ole Miss. And he wasn't even the one who was on the call. He gave the phone number to his buddy. But because another guy in the corner of the room decided to film the whole thing and post it online, it spread like a wildfire. And they were like, wait a second, that kid in the background looks awfully familiar. And the Twitter investigators started doing some research. Come to find out, it's the son of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator.
So much dumbacity around that. But again, this draft had 256 other players picked, not just Shedeur. He wasn't the only crank call. Tyler Warren, the Penn State tight end, got a crank call. There was a Buffalo Bills selected an offensive lineman. He got a crank call. So NFL, you need to tighten it up a little bit because that's BS, man.
And listen, say what you want about Shedeur, but to do that on a very important day, that is so just completely out of pocket and unwarranted. So that is my ugly. Don't prank call people during the biggest moment of their life.
Yeah. Punch in the face or kicking the balls. One of the two. You choose.
Ba-da-ba-bum-bum.
Okay.
Good, bad, and the ugly.
Thank you.
There you
Andrew.
go.
So we're doing the good, the bad, and the ugly. My good, Arizona football NFL draft, or Arizona football and Tucson in the NFL draft. My bad, Geno Suarez hitting 4 home runs, and D-backs still lost the game. And then my ugly, prank calling Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. Now it is time for Mr. Ali Farhang's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Take it away,
my good is really easy, man. I'm so happy for Lathan Ransom getting drafted in the 4th round, the 20th pick in the 4th round, right before my Pittsburgh Steelers. I was like crossing my fingers because I think they would have actually thought about taking him. Now, they took his teammate next, Jack Sawyer, who's just a badass from Ohio State. He is a Pittsburgh Steeler.
That's a very Steelers pick.
Oh, man, the Steelers had a great draft. But I'm so happy for Lathan. I am going to get a Carolina Panthers jersey when I find out what number he is going to be. And the NFL draft as a whole is just awesome. And it'll get part of my ugly. But there was 257 players drafted in the NFL draft. And not just one, despite the ESPN only talked about one guy for 3 days. But Terrion Arnold, who got drafted out of Alabama last year in the 1st round by the Detroit Lions, was on ESPN radio. And yes, I am listening to every pick. And when I go for my walks, I was listening to ESPN radio and I was listening to this. And they were talking about the relationship that Terrion Arnold had with Jalen Milroe, who at that point had not been drafted. And he talked about, man, I used to show up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and Jalen, man, he was already in the gym with sweat. And he's like, so the next day I went there at like 4:30, and Jalen Milroe sitting there on the bench. He's like, you thought you'd get here earlier and beat me here. He just talked about the beautiful friendship and relationship they had. And then while he was on with ESPN radio, the Seattle Seahawks in the 3rd round made the pick of Jalen Milroe. And this was Terrion Arnold's reaction to his buddy getting picked by the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, my God! Yeah! Yeah! Hey, we smoke them up. Oh, my God, bro. timing is.
Dang, bro, I'm so happy for my. Oh my God, bro. Bro, he deserved this, bro.
Sean Alexander.
Yo!
Introducing the Alabama quarterback with the former Alabama All-American DB.
Dang, bro, he deserved this, bro. Everything he done been through. Oh my God,
Make
bro.
it up, man. What'd they get?
Oh my God, but this ain't nothing but God, bro. Oh my God, bro. I don't even cry, man. I don't even know why I'm wiping my face, man. I'm getting emotional for him, man. That's my dog, bro. That's my dog, man. Let's go, bro.
I don't know that we could.
Let's go, bro. And we just came on the topic. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, the only question left for you is, can you tackle him?
Man, can I tackle him? Oh my God. What? Man, I smack him. What you mean? I tell him that all the time. You come across the head, concussion. I ain't playing. Dang, bro, that's my dog, man. Yeah. Hey, I gotta call him, bro. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Hey, appreciate y'all, man.
You are forever on scholarship, but it is.
Oh, for sure. Hey, man, yeah.
He just sprinted out of the room with his phone to go call Milrow. He's doing a touchdown down the hall.
That is Terrion Arnold, the first-round pick last season. That's a walk-off.
Yeah. So good.
Take that every other network. And that was incredible.
Amazing content.
That's awesome.
It's so good, man. And then he goes back and he's like FaceTiming with Jalen. And I think Jalen Milrow is the most talent. Like, he has the most talent. And he had the best response to an NFL team questioning about, you know, what do you need to work on? And he's like, well, I need to work on a lot of things. This is what I've been working on. And I need to work on this, and that. And they're like, are you worried you're telling us what your weaknesses are? He's like, if anybody comes in here and you're interviewing them and they say they don't need to work on anything, they're probably not a good pick for you. And there's probably disrespecting you that you don't watch film. I know I have things to work on. I'm going to work on them, and I'm going to be a great NFL quarterback. So I love Jalen Milrow. I hope he has a great career with the Seattle Seahawks. He's going to be the backup quarterback. And I wanted my Steelers to pick him, but I love Will Howard, the guy that got out of Ohio State.
Oh, maybe not the backup quarterback, man. Maybe the Seattle Seahawks are going to win a Super Bowl in a couple years with Jalen Milrow, because back in 2012, the Seahawks signed a relatively unproven NFC North quarterback to a huge contract. Seahawks make a splash move by signing a savvy veteran wide receiver,
Matt Flynn.
Then
from Green Bay.
Seahawks put finishing touches on a young, budding defense. The Seahawks then draft a mobile project quarterback in the third round of Russell Wilson, and then 2 years later they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This year, the
storyline. Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks have done pretty much that. So book it. Seattle winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I wish Jalen the best. I don't think they give him a year of development behind Sam Darnold. I think it'd be good for him. My bad is, man, Mel Kiper. And I'm not even getting into the fact that it was like he called Shedeur Sanders all the time, every day, or the fact that he actually said NFL teams for 50 years have been clueless about quarterbacks. They don't know as much as we do, or I do, because, you know,
the guy said Jimmy Clausen was going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, he picked some guard out of Rutgers on his big board ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Y'all make mistakes, right? don't is the audacity. But my bad is, of all that, and it's been talked about plenty, Mel Kiper's weird. He's a weird dude. So what I learned by watching the entire 7th round is the guy eats pumpkin pie but doesn't eat the crust because of hydrogenated oil. By the way, there's the crust underneath the pumpkin pie too, but he doesn't do it. He puts whipped cream, and I love whipped cream, every bite. Whipped cream, bite, whipped cream, bite. But that's not even the weirdest part.
He puts it on like
Cool Whip.
Like per bite.
That's not even the weirdest part. The weirdest part about Mel Kiper, where I'm like, dude, you are bizarre, is he refuses to eat in front of people. And in fact, his ESPN colleagues were like, you know what? We've never seen you eat in front of us. Like, what they bring us food and stuff. And you always say, I'm going in my room and I'm order room service. He's got some sort of phobia that he won't eat in front of people. But here's what's worse. This cannot be explained. He eats pizza, but he takes off the cheese. Why are you even ordering pizza if you take off the cheese? And by the way, you don't eat hydrogenated oil on the crust of a pumpkin pie. Buddy, what do you think's in the pizza crust? The pizza. So when I found out that not only do you not eat in front of people, but you don't eat cheese on your pizza, bro, that we can't hang out. So Mel Kiper, you're a weird dude. I mean, you're a legend. You're an entrepreneur. You started this whole kind of draft thing. In fact, the draft being where it's at is a lot. You have a lot to play into it. I respect you, but you're not right about every evaluation. And you need to eat a piece of cheese on your pizza, buddy. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, but you know, when I look at the cheese, I mean, really, is it the most important part of the pizza? You know, I'm looking at the crust, I'm looking at the pepperonis, I'm looking at the marinara sauce, and I just prefer those ingredients over the cheese, and that's why the cheese is off my big board.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Reese Davis put you in your place that, you know what, you haven't made every pick correctly. Jimmy Clausen, you said you would quit if he wasn't an NFL star quarterback. And again, you had a guard out of Rutgers ahead of Patrick Mahomes. And I could go on and on. It's an art, not a science. It's okay. And speaking of my ugly and Shedeur Sanders, it's like I said, there was 256 other players picked. And ESPN, everything doesn't have to be LeBron, the Dallas Cowboys, who's better, Jordan or LeBron. I mean, these things is tabloid news. And I just played Terry and Arnold being so happy for his teammates. There were so many good moments in the NFL draft. And actually, I don't think it was fair to Shedeur Sanders. And I don't know if he's going to be good or not. I really don't. But you kept putting his name out there. Stop making him the center, please. Center of attention. Like, it's not fair to the kid. It's not fair to the other kids getting drafted. And I just thought it was just really poor reporting and poor coverage of the NFL draft. I was really disappointed. I mean, Will Howard had better stats from Ohio State. He went in the 6th round. You didn't talk about why he slid. You didn't talk about why Quinn Ewers slid to the 7th round. I mean, all the quarterbacks slid. There was 2 quarterbacks taken in the 1st round. Cam Ward, you talked more about a kid that was taken in the 5th round just because you had a higher rating on him than the first pick in the overall draft in Cam Ward. And Cam Ward's incredible story. That kid was a walk-on at Incarnate World. Then he went to Washington State. He worked his butt off. And then he got to Miami, and he became the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. But you don't talk about that. You don't talk about, Derek Harmon from Oregon. He got drafted by the Steelers. He ran to the hospital. His mom was on life support to tell her your son got drafted, and she passed away the next day. These are the things, the human interest stories that make us, guys like me, love the NFL draft. And to focus all your attention on one kid, it's not fair to the kid. It's not fair to the other 256 players. And so I just thought the ESPN, NFL Network, everybody's coverage was just really terrible of the NFL draft, and it was really disappointing.
Well, in fairness, it was kind of a unique situation because we were talking about Shedeur maybe even going to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the late 1st round, right?
You were talking about, but anybody who knows the Pittsburgh Steelers knows we were not drafting Shedeur Sanders. We didn't watch him throw. We didn't go to his pro day. We had an interview with him. The kid is tough. I don't know if he's going to be a good NFL quarterback or not. I'm sorry he went to Cleveland. That quarterback room is a mess. I'm not as sorry as the GM and coach of the Cleveland Browns because they clearly were not very happy with their owner stepping in. Dion already saying, I'm going to be part of that first meeting with them because there's, no quarterback Shedeur's no second quarterback to anybody. There's reasons why he fell, but you know what? There's no conspiracy. NFL teams, especially at the quarterback position, if they think that you're a franchise quarterback, even if there might be some issues, regardless of who your parents are, they're going to take you.
Yeah. Well, and here's one story that I read about Shedeur is that in the middle of an interview with a team, he actually accepted a FaceTime call. Like, he's talking to a team, took a FaceTime call, and didn't hang up with that person and still finish the interview. Like, when an NFL team sees that, they're like, okay, he's already got the quote-unquote baggage with his dad and everything that comes along with it. And now in this interview, he's acting so entitled that he can't hang up this non-important phone call or unimportant phone call to have this interview with us. So I don't think Shedeur did himself any favors. However, Dylan Gabriel drafted over him. Like, there were some other names that were drafted ahead of him where I'm like, okay, something funny is kind of going on here.
There's nothing funny going on. Some people like Dylan Gabriel more than Shedeur Sanders. Cleveland Browns happen to be one of them. There's no way they wanted to select him twice. When you go to the Giants or meet with a team, Brian Daboll, the head coach of the Giants, like a lot of teams, gives you an install, like a package, and then they want you to learn it and then be able to explain it on the board. Not only did he not learn it, he's like, nah, I just didn't like it. So he didn't even he doesn't show the work. It's fair to question if this kid loves football. It's fair to question if this kid is entitled. But when you don't do the work, when you don't get the homework from a team that's drafting number 3 overall, and they're thinking about taking you, and they're like, "Nah, I didn't study it, and I didn't think it was very good." Buddy, you're not ready for my team. I don't want you leading my team. So he's done some of the other stuff, and whatever. And again, nobody listening, nobody talking about Shedeur really knows if he's going to be a franchise quarterback. We really don't know. In the biggest games against the best competition, I would suggest those are the best film to watch. And whether it's the offensive line or a lack of a running game, Shedeur was not good. He was not good. And maybe with good blocking, maybe with a good running game, maybe he will be good. He's an accurate passer. He's got an okay arm. But, I mean, to me, like I said, this is a big business. There's a lot at stake. There's families, livelihoods on the line when they're drafting these players, because if they're not successful, they get fired and they don't have a job. And so you're telling me that they're penalizing this kid because of they wanted to teach him a lesson? No, that's a bunch of BS. 31 teams, at least through most of the first 5 rounds of the NFL draft, did a full evaluation and determined he's just not the quarterback for us. And because of the fact that he's not taking this seriously, and this is a serious business. So I just thought the coverage was horrendous. And again, he might be a good quarterback, and I thought that the coverage was unfair to Shedeur. To keep talking about him over and over again and make him the center of the attention, a lot of kids fell. Yeah. So, he's just he's one of 257 guys that were drafted, and there was a bunch of great stories, and I wish they would have emphasized it more, because I love the NFL draft, and it was very disappointing to me on a number of levels this year.
Is that the ugly?
That was my ugly one.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right, before we go to commercial break.
So to recap, my good. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, before we go to commercial break. And by the way, what do you think about this whole Shedeur Sanders conversation? Hit us up, 719-1490, 719-1490.
Or don't, or call us about something else.
Or about any of the 256.
Or talk about the Arizona guys. Talk about Lathan Ransom.
Lathan Ransom, Rupert the reporter, before we go to break. Is he the only kid from Tucson that's won a college national championship?
Levi Wallace.
Wallace at Alabama.
But by the way, Lathan, 3rd straight Tucsonan selected in the NFL draft, 3 straight years. A couple years ago, he had Bijan go in the first round. Last year, Jordan Morgan going in that first round of the Green Bay Packers, and then Lathan Ransom this year.
How cool, man.
How cool is that for
awesome.
Tucson?
That's awesome.